There's nothing like getting checked by your son in the morning, especially when he's 13 years old, about to be 14, so he thinks he's an adult. He comes walking down the stairs, and as I passed him, I commented and complimented him on his cologne collection. And he looked at me and he was like, Dad, I just know how to smell good. He said it that simple. He said it with power and authority, and he just helped me to realize that, Dad, chill out. I know how to smell good. So when I went outside and I got to spend some time with the Lord, I sat down and I started to ask myself, do I know how to smell good? Well, my son does. He's 13 years old and he knows. He walks down with that swagger. So as I started to read in Proverbs 5, it reveals the principles of Maddox-style swagger and shows us how to smell good in God's eyes. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
The vibe room is coming. You got to turn on your microphone too and make sure that people can hear you. The vibe room is coming. It's a live version of our podcast. It's going to be here in Carlsbad for the very first time. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Hit a comment, drop a comment, and put vibe in there, and then I'll send you all the details. It's going to be incredible. There's only 60 people that can come, but and it'll sell out before we even open up tickets. So watch this. The only kid that doesn't know that he's the stinky kid is the stinky kid. And I've learned this from a very early age in my life. And when we were in school, it was like everybody in grade school, everybody knew who the stinky kid was. And if you went through this scenario, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you didn't know who the stinky kid was, guess what? It was you. And when my son walked down the stairs this morning and I walked by and I smelled him. If you have a 13-year-old son, you know you could smell him from a mile away because cologne is the biggest thing right now. And they're going back to all the colognes that we used to wear back in the day too, which I think is absolutely hilarious. But I commented on my son and I was like, man, you smell good today. And I was like, your cologne collection is amazing because he has like 15 colognes. I used to just have one, Dracar Noir, right? Or CK1. Or Obsession. We used to have just one, but he has like 15 almost. And I complimented him on his collection. And he looked at me, he's like, Dad, I know how to smell good. Well, it made me ask the question, like, do I know how to smell good? Like, do I know how to? Do I know that I'm not the stinky kid? In any relationship, I tell you, I don't want to be the stinky kid. And so as I sat down in Proverbs 5, it actually showed us how to be able to get that Maddox swagger without the hard work part of it. It was just the simplicity. And when I sat down with Proverbs 5, the reason why I do that is because it's the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. It's actually in the journal, which is the Inchstones, the vibe within, and it has a space for 3 months of journaling. Stacy, I want to give a huge shout out to you and Dan because Stacy sent me a message today, and she was like, I get it now. I get it. And she sat down. She's been working on her through her journal. And I tell you, give yourself grace because you're not going to do it every single day. I completely understand that. But it is built for a daily journal. And but it's 3 months. So you've got, January, February, March, and they're right next to each other so you can see your progress. But when Stacy sent me that message this morning, it really clicked for her. She sent me her notes. I'm not going to share them with you because it's private between us. But I tell you, when you start to dig in to Proverbs, first you'll read the word, then it'll start to read you. And it was incredible. So Stacy, I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you on your journey. Continue to give yourself grace, but also allow God to work in your life. And when you allow God to work in your life, it's incredible. Another huge shout out that I want to give is to my boy, Coy. I saw you the other day, Coy, at the football game, and it just brought me so much joy. You are an incredible human being, phenomenal athlete. And I just want to encourage you in all that you're doing, man. And you are an awesome guy that lights up the world with your smile. So keep smiling and listen to your parents all the time, and try that as much as possible. So how can we smell good? Right. And this is probably our whole entire life. We put on cologne because we want to smell good. We put on clothes because we want to look good. We buy a car because we want to look good to other people. We buy the right house because we want to feel good inside of ourselves, but also we want to live in the right neighborhood. All these things throughout life is like we're going through trying to figure out what it's going to take for us to look good, to smell good, to feel good, all these things. And God just broke it down. Right. And so in verse 1 and 2 of Proverbs 5, paying attention to wisdom, turning your ear to wisdom, maintaining discretion, and preserving knowledge are mandatory for what is coming. But listen to that. Pay attention to wisdom. Like, pay attention means that you actually have to invest. You have to invest your time, your energy, your knowledge. Like, you have to invest your time. Pay attention, because you won't value something unless you pay for it. Turn your ear, meaning listen for it. Maintaining discretion, meaning just discretion, just pump the brakes. And preserving knowledge are mandatory for what is coming. And what is coming, it's going to be things that get you off track, distractions, things like that. God wants you to smell good, and he's given you the answers to the test. In verse 3 and 6, challenges are on the way. They will be shiny with no substance. Challenges that want to distract us have the tendency to be a little bit more shiny. And this is probably, it's the get rich quick kind of thing. I told my wife, I said, when I was traveling a ton and I still do travel and go and speak for companies and things like that. But when I was traveling, like almost every single weekend, the challenge was I would stay up late and I'd watch infomercials, and they'd be like, oh, and you too, can have abs. I remember this one, you too can have abs. And I think it was in 10 minutes a day. And they kept talking about it. I was like, wow, I'm going to have abs for the first time in my life. This is going to be amazing. Then I got to the end of the infomercial, and they were like, the only way that this will not work, and I was like glued to the TV, is if you don't do the exercises that we told you. I was like, man, you just told me all I had to do is watch this thing. It would take 10 minutes. I'd get abs. But it was this shiny thing that drew me in. I watched it for 2 hours, and then guess what? They just bait and switched me. I don't want to do all that work. I don't want to do the work. I just want the shiny thing right away. Give it to me without all the work. Challenges are on the way. They will be shiny with no substance. Look for things that have substance behind them. In verse 7 through 14, wisdom and foolishness are like oil and water for a reason. Wisdom is the right use of knowledge, and it comes from the fear of God, spending a little bit of time with God. Foolishness is just the absence of wisdom, right? And wisdom spent time with, when you read this, wisdom spent time from the very, very beginning with God. And if we spend time with God, then he'll give us the wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge. That knowledge will give us understanding. That understanding will give us insight, discretion will give us discernment give us discipline will give us strength, and it'll leave us right back to the fear or respect of God. And we keep that circle moving. Wisdom and foolishness are like oil and water for a reason. They will never work together. They'll always separate. In verse 15 through 20, work your land and be content in all things. Probably the hardest thing ever, because I have the tendency to look at other people's land. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt that, somebody else is doing this, so therefore I need to do that? They're making more money than me in less time, so I need to do that. We are filled with this in our world, but what God is saying is, I built you for a purpose. You're exactly where you need to be at the exact right time. Your business is at the exact right place. Even if you're in a challenge, even if you're in a valley, because the growth happens in the valley. And guess what? In the valley, it's dark. It's nasty, but that's the time to rest, because God is getting you prepared, and get your body prepared, your mind prepared, your spirit prepared to climb that next mountain, but you need the energy, so rest in the valley. In verse Let's see. I didn't even put it's the last verses of this. So God sees your heart. It takes discipline to follow him, although the payoff is unbelievable. If you want to smell good in God's eyes, if you want to smell good in your career, if you want to smell good in your relationships, watch this. Let's just run them down. Let's run them down quickly, right? Pay attention to wisdom. Turn your ear. Listen for wisdom. Maintain discretion and preserve knowledge. Challenges are on the way, and watch out for the shiny things. Wisdom and foolishness are like oil and water for a purpose. You can't take a little bit of foolishness, a little bit of wisdom, and put them together. No, God just calls us to look to wisdom, the right use of knowledge. Just spend time with him. That's what he wants us to be able to do. And then he says, just work your land and be content in any state where you're at. A little with God is better than a lot without him. This is probably one of the hardest things it's the easy thing to say, it's the hard thing to walk through and to live in. God sees your heart. It takes discipline to follow him, although the payoff is unbelievable. This is how we smell good. And when we look at all those things, like I look at it, God's wisdom, like Maddox's words this morning, are simple, not easy. He gives us the answers to the test. Now ask yourself, do you know how to smell good? See, for my son, all it was doing enough sprays, which I think at 13 years old, he's doing quite a few sprays, doing about 8, 9. You should probably do 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you get in the car with your pop. Like when I take him to school, I'm like, man, this is a lot of cologne, bro. But it lasts throughout the day. He knows how to smell good. Do you know what to spray on in the morning? Do you know how many sprays to be able to do? And do you know how to smell good in that situation? Well, God just gave us the answers to the test. And what I would suggest is you go through, read Proverbs 5, and see what it says to you. This is my interpretation of it, but I'm going through the book, Inchstones, The Vibe Within, and I'm looking at, it just has 3 questions. 1, what verse hit your heart? 2, what did it make you think of? And number 3, what action can you add to it today? What action can you add? What hit you today in this episode? And put it in the comments. What part of it touched your heart? What did it make you think of? And what action can you add today? That'll, when you take your heart, your mind, and your hands, you put them in line, it creates an irresistible vibe. So hopefully you have a phenomenal day. I love you guys so much. Stacy, I'm proud of you. Coy, I'm proud of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got 2 shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again.